People are turning as little as $10 into 4-figure payouts by entering token pre-sales on the Virtuals Protocol Launchpad, meaning you don't even need a large allocation in order to make bank on this platform. Now, since my last tutorial only 2 weeks ago, so many changes have happened, from token staking to the multiplier to the points distribution. So in today's video, I want to discuss what those changes are, how I'm making 50 to 60,000 Virgin points every single day, the new referral system where you can earn 20% of trading fees, and when I think this whole Ponzi is going to come to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Crypto Gorilla video. As usual, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research before entering any of this stuff. We're going to discuss all the risks. If you appreciate me continuously doing research and putting out these videos, would you kindly hit that subscribe button? We're almost at 70K. We can get there. And with that, let's jump right into today's video. So if you're new to Virtuals Protocol, there are now referral links. I'll put mine in the description down below. If you've already signed up, maybe by watching one of my tutorials, if you go to the referral section of the website, you can actually enter a code for the person who referred you. So if you want to use my code, it's on screen right here. I'll also put it in the description down below, and that'll really help me out. So thank you very much, but let's get into the platform. The TLDR here is this is an AI agent pre-sale platform for tokens. So you get into tokens early. At the moment, you're getting in at roughly 240,000 FDV, very low for a token, especially that these are going to like 10, 20, 30 million market cap. And that is why you're seeing incredible returns on the timeline. If we look at the launches, there's been 36 that have actually bonded. The ones that don't, you just get a refund on, but 35 of 36 were profitable. Only one out the gate went to zero. The rest profitable. Insane metrics, like a crazy ratio. And then after weeks of them being out, only 4 of 36 went under their launch price. Again, amazing. But what makes this even more crazy is 2/3 of the tokens gave over 10x returns, with the highest returning 211x, which was BIOS, meaning if you put $100 into BIOS and you held until today, it's worth over $20,000. Now, this list is a little bit outdated by like 2-3 days. All the prices have changed. There's been additional launches, but we've seen even more launches do well, like Bookie AI, as well as Solace, which did a 50x and a 150x return, which is crazy. So how do you participate in these pre-sales? You are going to need Virgin points, which there are 4 different ways to earn. The first way is by staking Vader, which is an AI agent. And there's other agents that you can stake. Like here's a whole list, but this one is special because they get 5% of the daily emissions. Now, if you were staking on the Vader website, they also recently got an airdrop. So if you staked as little as $10, you were airdropped $330 worth of the token because the price is performing incredibly well, and you could have stacked this across multiple wallets and made bank. After that, you have 20% for the Virtuals token stakers. And look, I'm doing this. I'm currently staking 2,000 tokens, so $4,500 at current prices. You have to lock it up. I chose the minimum 1 week because I don't like locking up my money. You can do up to 2 years. So 2027, if that's something you want to do, they're getting good airdrops. So maybe it's going to pay for itself. However, if we look at my points here over the last couple days, I've gotten like 29 points, 33 points for staking $4,500. So for me, it's really not worth it unless you plan on holding these tokens anyways. You don't need them. You don't want to trade with them. Then I guess you could stake them, whatever. Now, the third way to earn points is by yapping. So here you got to make sure you've connected your X account, and then you can post on the timeline. But I understand this is very difficult for most of you because you don't have the X profile to compete with the top 1,000 people on Kaido. So the main way people are going to make points, which this is where I'm spending most of my time, is with the daily active bonus, which you can see is almost 73% of the daily emissions. So this is where I'm focusing my time. It's also where a majority of the major changes have happened, but it's also where the risk has significantly increased in terms of this whole Ponzi. And yes, I am calling it a Ponzi because before, when you did a Genesis launch, all you had to do was hold. If you sold the tokens, you get the cooldown punishment. But if you needed the money, if the market was crashing, whatever, you can just sell it and your tokens were liquid. Now they force you to stake if you want to earn points. So this is where the risk comes into play. This is where the question of am I too late to virtuals is relevant, because in order to stake your tokens, you have to commit to staking for a minimum of 2 weeks. And I say minimum because that 2-week timer only kicks in when you decide to click the unstake button, at which point those specific tokens stop earning Virgin points and you have to wait 14 days, meaning you can't trade this while they're staked, and then you can't trade it for 14 days, which during a market crash, like 14 days is a very, very long time. And you'll also have tokens perform super well. Like I put in $500 into Wint and it is currently worth $6,000 at 1.7K. And I want to sell this thing and I can't because my tokens are staked for another 13 days. So keep that in mind. The other thing is this platform has been going on for like over a month now. There are whales who have been loyal, staking all their tokens, getting a bunch of points, and they got into launches super low. Their bags are up like crazy, 25, 50, 100x on certain tokens. And at one point, they're going to want to exit this Ponzi. And yes, I say Ponzi. And what happens with Ponzi's? One day it's all sunshines and rainbows. The next day, the first domino falls and then the entire thing crumbles. So I'm not trying to scare you here. Like I still have 5 figures in this platform. I'm still planning on participating in it. The team is also crushing it. Like they are constantly shipping, coming up with new ideas to make it exciting. So I'm really enjoying this platform. I just want you to understand what you're getting into and what the risks involved are, because it's very easy to fall prey to like everyone's making 100x, I want to make 100x. But you don't care about risk. You're a degen. You just want to know how you can maximize your point earnings and make, 50, 100K points per day. Now, there is no correct answer because the team is constantly changing stuff. We are always playing catch up. Like I said, my tutorial from 2 weeks ago, even my video on Monday, is already partially outdated. But if you want to get started making the daily active bonus points, the bare minimum that you absolutely need to do is stake to activate. If we look at this tweet that they put out, no staking, no points. So as soon as you do that, you are eligible for the daily active bonus. You can stake both Genesis and regular agents. So like all those OG agents like aixbt, Vader, and all those. However, I think it goes without saying, if you're locking up an agent for a minimum of 2 weeks, pick something that you believe in that's going to hold its value. Don't chase future gains by locking up a random agent that's going to lose 70% of your money. But once you've decided to stake an agent, the next thing you're going to want to hit is point multipliers. And there are multiple ways to do this. The first way is by staking agents that have the green token lock symbol, which this means the team tokens are locked and they are not locking within the next 7 days. If they were, the lock symbol would become yellow, where you can see no multiplier bonus is active. Same thing for when there's no lockup at all. However, when you do have the green symbol, you can see here point multiplier applied in daily active bonus. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for tokens that have a minimum of a 30-day lockup, but ideally over 100 days. So there's quite a few of these. I find that way safer. You don't have to play like this game of chicken with everybody else who's going to unstake first and dump. However, at one point, we started to see tokens come out that were basically farms. Like this token literally does nothing, and you can see almost 8,000 days of token lockups. But there was like a controversy around this because some people weren't getting points, other people were getting a lot of points. So the founder of Virtuals came out and said that not all tokens are weighed equally. The ones that are actively building real products and shipping in public, they're going to have a bonus to encourage people to get into those tokens, which I think is totally fair. So people have been picking products like Biz, Bios, Axelrod. I assume the ones that have been publicly backed by Virtuals, or maybe the products that were in the hackathon like Bookie and Solace, are going to have that bonus. But it's really stuff that you're just like A/B testing and trial and error, because they don't tell you which tokens. Like we're all just guessing. So by staking these with the green lock, you're going to get a multiplier. And then by picking the right ones, you're going to get an even better multiplier on your points. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is trade. As you can see here, trade to amplify, because when you're trading, it is going to give you a significant boost on your points. This is night and day, and this is the main thing that I'm focused on. So you can trade OG agents, you can trade Genesis agents, you could trade even the virtual token. But what you want to make sure you don't do, similar to buying an agent, staking it, and it goes to zero, you don't want to lose money while trading. I saw this a lot with Blur. I saw it with Blast. People were chasing money, so they were burning ETH trying to, do all this stuff to get a huge airdrop, and then they were disappointed. Do not do that here. When you trade, you should trade with the intent of, at minimum, breaking even, and at best, making profits. So I am being patient. I am waiting for dips in tokens, and then I am actively trading them. I'm waiting for the number to go up above what I bought in for, the number of virtuals tokens, and then I'm dumping. I am seeing bots being made for this. Like, this one's going to automatically trade for you. It's an AI. Personally, I haven't used this. I don't know if I would until it's been tested very much, but I'm sure we're going to see more and more options like this. Now, you also have to keep in mind there is a 1% tax on both your buys and sales. So just factor that in to your calculations when you're figuring out if you lost or made money. Now, looking at my points, you can see over the last couple of days, on the 27th, I made 49,000 points in the daily active bonus. And then on the 28th, I made 61,000 points. Before this, I was still in jail on this account, so I wasn't making any points. And just to give you guys an idea of my portfolio, this is what I had these staked as well. So I had around anywhere from $9,000 to $11,000 with the fluctuations of staked tokens. And I was trading on the 26th. I believe I had $6,000 of volume. And then on the 27th, I had around $10,000 of volume both ways. And I think it's only the buys that count in terms of volume. So for that volume, I got 50,000 and 60,000 points. I have friends who stake less than me, did more volume than me, and they got more than double my points. Their points are in the 6 figures. So volume is extremely important. And just to illustrate this, for the daily active bonus on the 29th of May, I did no trading. I did not trade a single agent, and all I made was 3,000 points. For the same amount of staked agents, I hadn't unstaked my Wint yet, I made 3,000 points compared to 60,000 for doing 10K volume, and here 6K volume. So trading is night and day what it does to your Virgin points when you have the right agents staked, especially. So trading is something I'm making sure I'm doing and staying profitable. Another trick that I'm doing is I'm entering, all the good sales, even if, I figured I don't want to burn all my points on something like Presales because the ratio that I'm getting isn't good. Even though it pulled 150x, it was still worth entering. I'm still entering with a very small amount because one, it's not working right now. I don't know why I have Bookie here, I have Presales. They're not appearing. The staking is currently broken, but look at Biz. Biz, I must have put in $5 or $10 into Biz, and it's currently worth $200. So one, you're still making profit. Two, it allows you to stake tokens at a much lower cost because I entered for $10 and now it's worth $200. However, there is also the theory, I don't know if it's true, but I think it's true, of the double down bonus or the buy the dip bonus, where you enter a Genesis sale. So you put in money into a sale, you get tokens, you stake them, and ideally you stake them within the first 24 hours, as fast as possible. I also heard that gives you an extra bonus, at least for that day. But then, so let's say I entered the Genesis sale for Biz, I stake them, and then I go on the market and I purchase more Biz. I'll wait for a dip, I'll get in at a strategic point, because here I'm showing the team, no, I entered the Genesis sale, I staked it, so I'm not flipping, I'm not selling, but I'm buying even more. I am committed to this token. I really like it. And I think, that's exactly what they want to see. They want people to support these teams. And then on top of it, if you go stake even more, I'm sure it gives you a bigger bonus for that day at least. So this is an additional thing that I'm doing to try to increase my points. And I've heard of huge boosts for people who are testing this out. Now, additional tricks that I have, one that I've already mentioned is alt accounts. I am running multiple accounts because at one point I'm going to want to nuke my portfolio and get out. I have a lot of holdings. Like we saw, I have 10K in staked agents. I'm going to want to sell some of this stuff, especially if I hit 100, 150x. However, being in the take profit cooldown prison is torture. Especially when you're watching everyone on the timeline post about their 100x's, even turning $20 into $2,000. I want to do that. So I highly suggest having multiple accounts, not connected. I sent money from a centralized exchange, have virtuals on both, have staked agents on both, do volume on both. That way, when it comes time to sell on one account, you could still play on the second account and get points and enter all these sales. Now, the downside to this, and I haven't been able to figure it out yet, is for some reason, I have significantly less tokens staked on one of my alt accounts. This one I had 9K. That one I have probably 2K. I did more volume on that account. However, on this one, like we saw, I got 60K this day. On my alt, I got 3,000 points. and I did like double the volume on that account. So I'm not sure if they're looking at things like your socials are linked and your wallet history. Like my wallet here is, has thousands of transactions. It holds NFTs. It's interacted on, I don't know how many chains. It's from 2020 or 2021 versus this new wallet. It's literally brand new and it's never done anything other than virtuals. So maybe they're factoring this in. So keep that in mind when you decide which wallet you're using. But like 3K compared to 60,000, even though I have less staked on one wallet, you'd think it'd be at least 20,000, right? 1/3, because I still did a ton of volume. Now, as for the don'ts, obviously, when you do a Genesis sale, don't sell the allocation, or at least not all of it, because then you're going to be in cooldown prison, not earning points for 10 days, and it sucks. The other thing you should not do, and I don't have proof for this, but I have a friend who did it, and his points got nerfed like crazy. I'm talking 10x or 90% nerfed. He went from 130 a day to 13K today, and he thinks it's because he bought tokens on one DEX and he sold them on another. So ideally, you're using, whether it's a platform, whether it's Uniswap, whether it's a random DEX, buy and sell in the same place. Maybe they think it's some sort of manipulation or something. I don't know. Just make sure you buy and sell in the same place. And then other than that, like I said, they introduced the referral program, which I would really appreciate if you use my code. It helps me out. If not, no worries. And what this does is you earn 20% of the person you referred trading fees, and then you earn 5% of whoever they refer. So it's a nice little pyramid scheme there. But if you're bringing people onto the platform, if you're referring people, it's a nice way to make money because they're paying 1% of all their trades. So if you get a whale and he's doing like hundreds of thousands of trades, you could still make great money from this. I really wish they introduced this like before my first 3 videos about this, where between all 3, I have like 30K views. I would have made bank, but it is what it is. And then finally, I want to talk about what I think the timeline is left for this platform. Now, obviously the market is kind of nuking right now. Alts are holding up decently well considering. Virtuals is red on the daily, but it's still doing really well. It's above $2. However, my fear today was what's bigger than Presales, because Presales was the hackathon winner. We kept seeing like top 10 runner up, whatever. Presales is the first place hackathon winner. I'm not the biggest fan of their product. It's like an emotional AI agent that you talk to. I get it. Like I talk to ChatGPT every day and tell it my problems and it fixes them for me. But what's bigger than Presales? Like I have to go through the upcoming launches, but there's not really anything that is just standing out to me and really exciting me. So outside of Babysitter, this one is another top 10 hackathon. So I think people are going to go crazy for this one, but it's 22 days away. So it's great because it allows us to earn points. But like, again, what is bigger than this sale that today gave 150x return? Like, does that mark the top? Or is that going to have a ton of people running into this market? So like, okay, I got to stop ignoring it. There's 50x's, 100x's, now 150x returns, and all these tokens are performing so well. We have Virgen setting like new all-time highs almost every single day, reaching 35 million. We haven't even had a coin on this platform hit 100 million yet. We haven't had that 1000x like on Pump Fund. So there's potentially still a lot of room left for this to run. And I think one indication of that is how this video performs. And I'm not saying that because like my video is the greatest and I have a big head. If you look at like my top 10 videos, including videos from the past that are trending, Virtuals is number 1. After that, we have Hyperliquid because obviously it's been trending, and then meme coin stuff. But my Virtuals videos, this one and this one, which is 2 weeks old, have continuously been trending and getting a ton of views. So that's one thing I'm going to watch. The other thing is one of the coins, Whale Intel, Wint, the one that I have that I staked and it went to the moon. They have this great platform that gives you details on all the different tokens. You could check metrics, people, how much they have staked, who's unlocking and all that. But it also shows you the chart of onboarding. Now, I know this it looks flat, so it's like scary, but it'll update at the end of the day. They kind of, I don't know why they do this. They top it off for some reason. It'll update. So we'll see if the uptick in users continues or if it starts to fall off. And that could be some indication of if this whole Ponzi is going to keep going. So I will tweet this stuff. I will keep you up to date in videos so you don't have to go and spend the $1,200 in tokens to get this. But with that being said, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you want to see more tutorials, I'm working on a Hyperliquid one, so that is coming up probably Monday. If you appreciate this video, give it a big thumbs up. It helps it reach a wider audience. If you haven't already done so, would you kindly hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification. Thank you for watching another Crypto Gorilla video. Peace.